Hello, I'm Sarah Airriess. I made this book. It's based on a book by absolute Thierry Gerard about his time on Captain Scott's second Antarctic expedition. I'm here at the Discovery, which was Scott's ship on his first expedition, because I used the Discovery a lot in reference for this book. This ship is now a patch of sludge off the coast of Greenland, whereas the Discovery is beautiful and intact and in lovely Dundee. So I'm going to show you some of the locations on the Discovery that I used for drawing the Terra Nova. So there are very few photos of the inside of the Terra Nova, and that's what I found was most useful about the Discovery, especially because the Discovery has a steam engine. The Terra Nova also had a steam engine. Most other ships that are comparable to the Terra Nova are just sail. So coming to the Discovery, I got to see the inner workings of the whole engine department. Especially this boiler. The Discovery had two boilers, and the Terra Nova only had one, as far as I know. But I could imagine in this space in the boiler room, the depth of it and the enormous power of this boiler with the flames going inside and then the smoke coming up through here up to the chimney. There's a whole sequence in the book that's set in the boiler room, and this drawing on page 31 is it's basically just this boiler with my Terra Nova guys feeding it. I don't think I could have drawn it at all without visiting here. So this is the part of the Discovery that I used for figuring out the nursery cabin, which is where the author of the book spent his journey down. And they had 6 bunks along like this, but the cabin itself was only about came out to the middle of this table, and it was full of furniture and books and luggage that was being stored. So you can imagine how cramped it would have been with just people sleeping on this side and then a row of luggage on this side and then a little bit of walkway to walk down to the door at the end. And it was being able to stand here and envision that, like, to do the sort of mental arithmetic of where the bunks came out to was very helpful in placing myself in this cabin that is very important in the story. So this is the wardroom of the Discovery. I mentioned earlier that the Terra Nova, there are very few photos of the interior of the Terra Nova. There are exactly 3 photos that I found of the interior of the Terra Nova. They are all of the wardroom, and they are all the angle at which you're seeing me right now. So it's helpful in that I can see how the walls were decorated and so on, but it's not very helpful for giving me a sense of the whole space and seeing it from different angles and everything, which is why visiting here was really helpful in that regard. This is the weirdest place for me to be because I feel like I've stepped into my own drawing. I've drawn the wardroom so many times, and right here I'm just feeling like I should be stumbling across this in a storm and sliding into the wall, because it's like I've been here mentally so much. The size is the same, the height is the same. It feels like this is experientially standing on the wardroom of the Terra Nova. It's just got different interior design. So this is just off the wardroom. On the Terra Nova, this passageway, there's a little cabin here, and then when you got to the end, there were stairs going up to the deck. There was a door out onto the deck. And I knew from that photo that from the angle of that photo that's where the stairs were. But there was a story that I kept hearing about the Terra Nova, which I couldn't quite place with the plans of the ship that I'd seen and the bits that I knew. And that was that when you came off the stairs, there was a hatch to the lazarette down below that was frequently left open. And there was supposed to be a bar that would block people from falling down the hole. But quite often they just left it off because everyone knew it was open and they would feel their way around it without falling down the hole. But it would surprise new people on the ship. And I didn't end up using it in the story, but I needed to know where this hatch was. And it turns out on the Discovery there's a hatch in exactly the same place. And because I knew where the stairway was, I knew that's where the hatch was. And I could picture how incredibly difficult it would have been to feel your way around it if you didn't know it was a gaping open hole down there. So another fun feature of the wardroom is what I know as the birthday bar. That was because on the Terra Nova they had a tradition that when it was your birthday, you got hauled up over the bar by all the other guys, and you can totally see that happening on this. I wouldn't recommend trying it; the curators might get mad at you. But just being able to see it in space like this was very helpful to drawing the picture of this happening on the Terra Nova. This is the Discovery's barometer. It tells you the atmospheric pressure, and based on how the needle changes, it can give you an indication of how the weather might happen in the next few hours. I completely stole this barometer from my book. I have no idea what the barometer looked like on the Terra Nova. So you can see, oh, there it is, exactly the same barometer. It's so lovely, I had to take it home with me. Because the Terra Nova had engines, like the Discovery has engines, you need somewhere for all that disgusting coal smoke to go. So there's also this beautiful dandelion yellow funnel, which is just how the Terra Nova's was described. If you ever see a model of the ship that doesn't have a bright yellow funnel, it is wrong. It was a bright yellow funnel, just like this one. So I've basically taken this and put it in my book as well. Come to the Discovery and like live in the past. Is very cool. The museum's excellent too. I've used the museum for a bunch of stuff in here as well. You won't regret it. It's great. Every time I'm in Scotland, I come up here and I like to hang out on the ship and pretend that I'm back in time. There's so few places in the world where you can actually hang out on a genuine historic polar ship.